Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 7 o'clock main news. In tonight's headlines, His Excellency the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt and his accompanying delegation are expected to arrive in Kuwait tomorrow on a two-day official visit. Upon the Egyptian President's visit, Kuwait highlights solid relations with a brotherly country. Pakistani officials say that at least 6 militants were killed by a US drone strike near the Afghan border. And Indonesia's search agency says the search for the wreckage and bodies from the AirAsia plane crash has been held back due to bad weather. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received this morning at Saif Palace His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah. His Highness the Emir then received the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem. His Highness the Emir also received His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister. His Highness the Emir later received the First Lady Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Thein Sein, on the occasion of his country's National Day. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Thein Sein, on the occasion of his country's National Day. His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister, also sent a similar cable. His Excellency the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and his accompanying delegation are expected to arrive in Kuwait tomorrow, Monday, on a two-day official visit, during which he will hold official talks with His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah. The Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs, Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Mbarak Al Sabah, said the Council of Ministers welcomes the visit of His Excellency the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Kuwait due tomorrow, Monday. Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah said in a statement that the visit reflects fraternal and close relations between Kuwait and Egypt and shows continuing people-to-people ties. Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Mbarak added that the Cabinet is satisfied with the current situation in Egypt, primarily security, stability and serious steps towards progress and prosperity, hoping that the visit would produce fruitful results to serve the common interests of both nations. The expected visit of His Excellency the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Kuwait, scheduled for tomorrow, reflects fraternal and close relations between Kuwait and Egypt and shows continuing people-to-people ties. Kuwait and Egypt have common ties for many decades, so the rulers of Kuwait underline the importance of consolidating and cementing relations with Egypt, since it has a crucial and effective role towards the region's issues. More details in the phone report by Hiba Abdurrahman.
Kuwait and Egypt have had solid ties for many decades, characterized by mutual understanding and keenness on development to further strengthen relations between both countries. It's a known fact that bilateral ties linking the two brotherly countries represent a bright beacon for Arab cooperation at all levels, a matter that helps achieving the aspirations of peoples of both countries. Kuwait and Egypt have always aimed at further consolidate these deep-rooted relations, since it has crucial and effective role toward the region's issues. Based on that, the Kuwaiti and Egyptian leaders are keen on developing these ties continuously through exchanging mutual visits by officials on both sides and expressing their similar stances in Arab, Islamic, and international forums. On the economic domain, the Kuwaiti-Egyptian relations are strong and deep, since they share various joint ventures, and also because Kuwait is one of the biggest Arab investors in Egypt through Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development that implemented numerous successful projects in the brotherly country. From this point, the visit by His Excellency the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to Kuwait, scheduled for tomorrow Monday, is expected to reaffirm the strength of bilateral ties, which had a positive impact on the interests of both countries.
His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received this morning at Steve Palace the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem. His Highness the Crown Prince then received His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister. His Highness the Crown Prince later received the First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah. His Highness the Crown Prince also received the Deputy Premier and Minister of Interior Sheikh Mohammed Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah. His Highness the Crown Prince later received the Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs Sheikh Salman Sabah Al Salim Al Hamoud Al Sabah. Finally, His Highness the Crown Prince received the Minister of Health, Dr. Ali Saad Al-Abedi, and the Minister of State for Housing Affairs, Yasser Hassan Abul. Israel on Saturday night froze the transfer of about €106 million in tax collections to the Palestinian Authority in response to their bid to join the International Criminal Court. More with Meshlu Hedi from Gaza.
Authorities decided to freeze the transfer of tax funds collected by Israel for the Palestinian Authority. Following discussions between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other officials, Israeli sources confirmed that Israel held back $127 million of tax funds needed to pay Palestinian salaries. Palestinian officials condemned this measure, saying it's a new war crime and illegal collective punishment.
What was done by the Israeli government is a war crime and new sanctions against the innocent. Israel's behavior is not strange. It is known that it does not want peace and wants to live amidst war and chaos. All of this came after Palestinians have asked for their legitimate human right at the Security Council and other international organizations.
Israel's action came as a protest in response to Palestinians' formal application of membership in the International Criminal Court. Since the signing of documents, sharp criticism and threats by US and Israel filled the political atmosphere. US said Palestinians' move would have repercussions for US aid. While in addition to the money freeze by Israel, some officials revealed that the government is considering large-scale persecution of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and other senior Palestinians. They say it's because of their unity deal forged with Hamas, which Israel and other governments have named a terrorist organization.
It is possible that Israel would go to the criminal court in a way to defend itself, but Israel has enough of charges. The resistance of the Palestinian people is not considered terrorism because it is within the state of the occupation and the Israeli side is responsible for this reality.
Palestinians say that the state of Palestine would become an official member of the International Criminal Court and other international conventions by the beginning of March. The issue of Israeli settlements and the recent war in the Gaza Strip, known as Operational Protective Edge, would be the first two cases the Palestinians would submit to the International Criminal Court.
The way is full of obstacles. Israel is not a member in the ICC, which could mean that Palestinians' request to sue Israel would be ineffective. Also, Israel is prepared to file war crimes case against Palestinians. All of this means that instead of focusing on ending the occupation, the whole issue would be turned into a new battle of deciding who's the victim and criminal. Majlou Haidi, Kuwait TV, Gaza.
At least 6 militants were killed by a U.S. drone strike near the Afghan border. Pakistan officials said the strike in the tribal region of North Waziristan targeted the compound of Hafiz Gul Bahadur, who heads a powerful Taliban faction. The strike followed Pakistani air raids on militant hideouts in Tira Valley in the Khyber region. Pakistan has stepped up its own offensive against insurgents after Taliban militants killed 132 children at a school in Peshawar last month. The military said more than 1,700 militants have been killed since the operation began in June. The search for the crew of a vessel found overturned off the north coast of Scotland has resumed, although the Coast Guards have accepted that the chances of finding survivors are very slim. The vessel's upturned hull was found by a passing ferry in the Pentland Firth yesterday. The Coast Guard this afternoon said that the vessel now appeared to have sunk. The Maritime and Coast Guard Agency said the search involved 2 helicopters and 4 lifeboats, assisted by Coast Guard rescue teams from Kirkwall, St Margaret's Hope, Duncansby and Scrabster and Wick. The 4 lifeboats later all returned to their respective bases. HMS Somerset and its helicopter also joined the search. The search for the wreckage and bodies from the AirAsia plane crash has been held back due to the bad weather. Indonesia's search agency said divers were sent to investigate 5 large objects detected on the seabed, but the trip was cut short. The head of the National Search and Rescue Agency said the diving effort was temporarily suspended as the visibility on the seabed was 0. At least 34 victims have been recovered from the Java Sea, but officials warn that the search will get harder as the bodies sink underwater. British Prime Minister David Cameron said today that he would like to bring forward a referendum on Britain's membership of the European Union from the planned date of 2017. Under pressure from Eurosceptic members of his own party and the rise of popularity of the anti-EU UK Independence Party or the UKIP, Cameron has promised to renegotiate Britain's ties with the 28-nation bloc and try to take back powers to London from Brussels. With immigration a top issue for voters ahead of the May elections, Cameron has set out plans to restrict EU migrants' access to welfare payments in Britain. Cameron is expected to discuss his plans during a meeting with German leader Angela Merkel in London on Wednesday. North Korea issued today a furious statement criticizing the United States for imposing sanctions against government officials and the defense industry for a cyber attack on Sony. The US placed sanctions on 3 North Korean organizations and 10 individuals after the FBI blamed Pyongyang for the cyber attack. North Korea praised the attack on Sony but denied any involvement in it. It came as Sony was about to release The Interview, a comedy about a plot to assassinate North Korea's leader. A photography exhibition was recently held at Beit Lozan that showcases the students of the Department of Architecture at Kuwait University. The photos on display focused on designs that depict traditional and modern Kuwait. Our reporter Rinwa Japouri has this report.
Architecture is indeed a rich career that students can embrace and develop in many ways. Architecture has the power to create change and create an ambience that can ultimately influence the way society lives and feels. Students of the Department of Architecture, Kuwait University, have today demonstrated they are indeed talented individuals who will contribute in phenomenal designs for their country.
I've been teaching this particular class for years now, and the first thing I want them to learn is how to preconceive an idea, put that idea onto paper, put that idea up on the wall, present it, and defend it. Because this is the most important thing if you have an idea and you don't really express it, it goes nowhere. And there's more than one way and one mean of expressing an idea. and one of them is photography. And I am fortunate enough to be with a bunch of Kuwaiti students that are brilliant, and I'm blessed with that.
It's an honor, honestly, to host them. Every year I'm impressed with the caliber and the quality of the work that they present us here at Beit Lodan. These are all first-time photography students. This is their first real project. This is their first real photography class. So it's astounding, really. As you can see around you, the work is amazing. I usually tend to can't help myself, and I have to purchase a piece or two for my home. Their pieces are so incredible that I really don't know how to explain it more than saying that it's amazing work. They do it every year. They manage to surprise me every year, and they come back with stronger and stronger work every year.
The mentors and educators of the students explained that they try to encourage their students to think independently and allow students to make designs that are culturally rich and which they have very well achieved and beyond.
It's very different. This is the basic photography class. We have two classes, basic and advanced. This is the basic photography. The new students introduced to photography. We teach them all the techniques, how to take pictures and how to develop their own pictures digitally. And then once they're done, we push them to do something creative and different by doing an art installation using photographs.
Audiences who were viewing the works of the students highly praised their designs, which were a combination of beautiful traditional Kuwait yet also maintaining a cutting-edge approach.
The creative designs of architecture students studying at Kuwait University have impressed and pleased a wide crowd due to the students' ability to demonstrate zeal and passion through their work. From Beit Lodan, Salmiya, I'm Gemma Jaburi reporting to you for the English News.
Kuwait Stock Exchange ended today's session in mixed boards as the price index went up by 11 points to 6,546 points, while the weighted and KSX 15 indexes fell by 2.33 points and 9.56 points respectively. Number of trades amounted to 5,126 transactions worth 12 million Kuwaiti dinars, with 145 million shares changing hands. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. And to recap tonight's news, here are the headlines once again. His Excellency the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt and his accompanying delegation are expected to arrive in Kuwait tomorrow on a two-day official visit. Upon the Egyptian President's visit, Kuwait highlights solid relations with the brotherly country. Pakistani officials say that at least 6 militants were killed by a US drone strike near the Afghan border. And Indonesia's search agency says that the search for the wreckage and bodies from the AirAsia plane crash has been held back due to bad weather. Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening.